Now, moving to Gaza, officials from Israel and the Hamas terror group are still negotiating the terms of how reconstructive aid will flow into the Strip. Israel is demanding, among other things, that the funding and aid materials be closely monitored and kept out of the hands of terror groups like Hamas. To that end, Israeli Public Security Minister Omer Barlev is now proposing a new solution, a voucher system. So can this work? Here with more is Jerusalem Post and Quds newspaper columnist Dr. Gershon Baskin. Dr. Baskin, thanks so much for joining us. Now, how is this policy meant to function, and will Gazans still receive any cash?
I think the point is to, as you said, to keep the cash out of the hands of Hamas or being delivered by people in Gaza to Hamas. And the basic idea is a voucher, is that people would get, or the governing authorities in Gaza would get vouchers for materials that would be delivered to Gaza, cement and steel and other building material, windows and aluminum, etc., rather than the cash themselves. And this is not something new. In fact, it was done in the West Bank years ago when there was suspicion of corruption by the Palestinian Authority. The US government, for example, through USAID, started contracting projects itself rather than delivering money to the Palestinian Authority to implement projects. There are different ways of doing this. And the point is that the reconstruction needs to happen. Almost $500 million worth of damage is estimated by the World Bank and the United Nations. People's lives need to be repaired from the damage that was done. And of course, no one wants to fund Hamas's ability to build more rockets and more tunnels and more damage. So creative means needs to be undertaken in order to enable this to happen.
So how will this system prevent Hamas from utilizing the aid, however? Couldn't they theoretically just steal the vouchers or otherwise appropriate or embezzle the aid that comes from those vouchers?
Right. I think there are lots of ways that the Hamas government can get the money that it needs, and it needs a lot less money than has been estimated. The rockets that they build are made in shops. They collect steel and other metal materials for the casing for the rockets. They use fertilizers and other chemicals. They're actually quite creative and quite cost efficient in producing rockets that they shoot at Israel, or digging tunnels using cement from Egypt and other building materials that they use from rubble. So I don't think this is really going to prevent the money from going from Hamas as long as Hamas is governing there. They're going to have access to money, and they will enlist the young people as soldiers to do the physical labor, and labor wages in Gaza are quite cheap. I think what is important for us to be looking at is that if there is going to be $500 million being pumped into Gaza, then that money should go to help the Palestinian economy itself, the private sector. Small and medium family businesses should be helped with this money. The economy of the West Bank should be helped. The economies of Jordan and Egypt should be helped. They could be contracted to deliver work and to deliver supplies. And I think it would be, in general, healthy for the entire area if those economies could be supplemented through the aid which is going to come in from the international community.
All right, well, if the voucher program can sufficiently help in the rebuilding of Gaza and every other community that you just mentioned, in addition to ideally preventing the use of these dual-purpose materials for terror, I think it sounds like a win-win. Until then, Dr. Baskin.
Certainly worth looking at.
Yeah. Dr. Baskin, thank you so much.